do it.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's like this perpetual need to learn, like craving to learn new things. That's really helpful in this field, I guess.
It really is. This is one of those things where you have to understand you will never stop learning. If you think you're going to just kind of squeak by and learn what you need to get a job, you're going to get left behind and fired. If you don't want to continue learning, just stop now.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'm just gonna introduce myself really quickly. So if you guys don't know me, I'm just Discord admin here. I've been studying IT for 6 years. I've been studying in apprenticeship, so I've been working and studying and like at work and at school. Kind of, I mean, you guys don't know what's apprenticeship, so yeah. And it was my degrees were like general IT, and I started really looking into security about like the start of 2020 with the very famous 15 hours TCM course on YouTube. I think a lot of people started here, and that's how it went. I learned by myself every night after coming back from work, coming back from school. Just learned by myself, and okay, there's a lot of people joining. We just got a jump of 50 people joining.
That's awesome. And it's
So
going
yeah,
up. Let's
welcome
go.
guys, welcome everyone. So yeah, I just worked every night for a good like 5 months, I would say, to kind of get the skills required, and then I applied for jobs just before graduating, and I got a job that I started beginning of this month as a security consultant and pen tester, but we're gonna get on that later, I guess. So yeah, so we have it's pretty cool because you are from the US and I'm from Europe, so we kind of have two point of views, and we have like me as a student and you as a career change.
Yeah. So I would still consider myself a student, right? Like I'm technically a professional, but I'm forever learning.
I was talking about just the background, like where we come
No,
from.
I know.
Okay, so from just gonna go through questions from Raven. He asked, did you hold any InfoSec jobs before scoping out a pen testing job? So you didn't?
I did not. No. Like I said, my careers, like my joke is all of my jobs were a very obvious jump from one to the next. So I was a photographer at a local amusement park. I was the guy that was annoying when you walked in. I was the guy with the camera in your face. That was my first job. Before and after that, I was teaching martial arts. I taught Taekwondo and Hapkido for a few years. After that, I cleaned pools for a living. I cleaned pools for 12 years. I owned my own business for 9 of those. After that, I am now a penetration tester and red team operator. So obvious path from one to the next made perfect sense. So that was my progression.
Okay, esqy coming up with the serious questions. I think you asked that one last time too. Who do you think would win between a lion and a bear?
Obviously, the one that has the gun.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I think a bear would win.
Yeah, same. That's my opinion. Anyways, thank you, esqy, for your participation. Let's see, I'm going through the questions. There was a question from Nerdy. He asked, how do you even get a customer for a first pen test job? But just getting that question out of the way. I think he thought that maybe you started your own business, but that's not the case.
No, that's not the case. But
Yeah.
if I had to guess, it'd be the same as any other business. It's not so much you are looking to acquire people, you want to advertise. Just like any business, it's word of mouth, it's social media presence. It's how are you portraying yourself to the world? How are you getting noticed? It's not so much, hey, this is my skill. Can I go from business to business asking them if they need a pen test? That's kind of sketchy. Advertise. Put yourself out there. They'll come to you if you do it right. That's any business though.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's pretty cool too because like you are I know I need to not say anything to disclose anything, but I can say that you work for a like internal client, right? I mean, you work for an internal team.
Correct.
So is it like was it like a preference for you, or do you like customer relationship, or what's the deal?
So the way that went down is I just loved the work and I didn't care where it was.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't care if I was in a consultant team and I was just doing pen test after pen test after pen test, doing like 5,000 in a year. Like obviously we all will do. I'm not looking to work for a specific company. I'm looking to do the work itself. It just so happened that I am where I am, and everything I'm doing is internal, I should say.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, yeah. And so like how long was the did you have like a period of training to like they teach you what tools do you use internally or
yes, and um, excuse me, excuse me.
no problem. Guys,
So
by the
there,
way, if you can head to the event resources channel just below and react with the flag of your country, be pretty cool to see where you guys all come from. All right, you can go ahead, Fearless,
yeah,
Mike.
no worries. So they're still training me because, like I said, I've only been here for a month and a day, right? And so I came in at kind of a weird time because when they hired me, they were auditing everything, making sure everything was up to par. So right this second, it's mostly paperwork that I'm doing, but that's everyone. But this is part of the job, and not everything is going to be exciting. You're not going to pop a shell on every engagement. It
Mm,
might be boring, but yes, to answer your question, they are training me while we're doing this, and just to brag on my company a little bit where I'm at. I love everyone. I did not think I would have a company where or get a job where I enjoyed everyone who I work with. I didn't think that I would get a job where not only was my boss pretty cool, but he still challenged me and he wants me to grow. He wants me to be professional. He's got that perfect mix of boss and encourager. Like I don't know how to explain it better than that. And he's great. And everyone has just been really interesting. Anything you need to know or you want to do, they'll help you. And so right now, I'm actually learning cloud penetration testing. I got approved to take the SANS course for that. So they're training me that way. They're training me on internal tools as well. And it's been a lot of fun. And
mm.
Alec, I don't want to take the wind out from under your sails, but a lot of people are asking me about interview questions and job related stuff. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
okay.
reading that. So maybe we can get to that part and then
Sh-
move on from there.
Sure, sure. Did you see a question that was relevant you wanted to answer?
Yeah, I saw a few of them. So do you have any job advice for job interviews? What search for jobs?
Mm.
What knowledge for jobs and things like that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that, and
Yeah, so
but yeah,
we can
go
get
ahead.
into whenever you're ready. I didn't know if you had an order you wanted to do it, so I'll let you lead it. Obviously,
It's
you're
okay, don't worry. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I had the question like, are there minimum skills certification you noticed when looking at possible positions? I'm
basically
gonna,
if
yeah, go ahead.
no, you're gonna what? Go ahead.
Okay, that's awkward. My
Yeah,
answer to that would be sure, there's minimum skills and certifications, but that shouldn't limit you in your research, in your like apply when you're applying for a job. Like you see a job requires let's say OSCP. If you don't have OSCP, maybe if you have something else like ECPPT, let's say for example, or if you can prove that like you have the knowledge, you should still apply.
exactly. And don't let the X amount of minimum years deter you.
Yep.
I have had 0 years and I got hired. As far as certificates go, I do not have my OSCP. And that's a big one. That one, not only do I not have any experience, I don't have the OSCP. And I still got hired for a pen test job. And that was because I was able to prove I know what I'm talking about. I was able to prove that whatever question they throw at me, I know the answer and I know everything about it. If you can do the ECPPT, then you should be fine. If you can learn everything that is within the ECPPT training path, you'll know 90% of what you need to know to be a junior pen tester. And chances are, after that, they'll teach you everything you know to move on from there. I'm just going to make a definitive statement. You're never going to find a buffer overflow in the wild. It's not going to happen. So learn that for your job, but don't think that you're going to need it. You might one day, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am, because those are fun to do, but I've never heard of anyone finding one. So other than that, learn what cross-site scripting is. Learn the difference between a reverse shell. Learn know what a reverse shell is, I should say. Know what a bind shell is. Know your stuff, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit awkward because I have my questions on my Trillium notes and my VPS crashed apparently. So I just lost.
Were they the same questions you asked me, or you sent me, I should say, in a DM?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's actually saving us right now.
You're welcome. Novaeus, is that how you say that? I'm actually not a veteran. I did not serve in the military.
So how do you make a profile description to make you qualified enough for a pen test job? With this question, I mean, it's all down to the resume, I guess.
It
And
comes down.
yeah, you have to feed this resume. If you're just a beginner and you don't have like certs and everything, like you have to, I don't know, put your try-hack me profile, put your what else, like personal projects.
Mm-hmm. So the way I did it, the way I organized everything, was the first thing I did was I put my, I'm in the top 2% on Try Hack Me, and so I just put that on there. And then I realized some companies really like Hack the Box. I noticed that in a lot of job descriptions. So I put my in the hacker rank on Hack the Box. So I put that on there. Then all of a sudden, the mayor decided that he's going to do a walkthrough on how to get your first CVE. So Husky Hacks and we tag teamed this one free and open source software, and just kind of went to town. And I'm still bitter about that that one RCE that they're saying didn't count. Whatever, not the point. I ended up getting a CVE because of Joe's walkthrough. I put that on there. I got my eLearn Junior Penetration Tester and my eLearn Certified Professional Penetration Tester certificates. I put that on there. I wrote walkthroughs for different Try Hack Me boxes, for different Hack the Box retired machines. I put that on there on a blog. Whatever you do, put on there. You really want to stand out? Write something. Write a code. Do something. Put it on GitHub. Put that on your resume. Make it look like you want the job. Don't just say, oh, I want it because I get paid a lot of money. No, don't do that. If you want the job, make it obvious. Put what you're doing on your resume. Make it front and center. I titled mine Non-Traditional Experience. And that showed that I'm trying, I have experience, but it's not work experience. I put in well over 100 applications. And there's 2 that I got called back from, and I remember the numbers. There were 84 and 87. And I went and I got an offer for 2 jobs out of over 100. And it was because I finally was able to put the CVE on my resume. That was a big one. That I got a lot of questions about. How'd you find it? What is it? Blah, 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 stuff like that. If you make it obvious that you want it, it doesn't matter how you write it, they will want you.
Yeah. By the way, that's like what you said about like you got a CVE. If anyone could grab that link from the Mayor blog post to how to help you get a CVE, because I think that's something that maybe students here can do just starting like tomorrow and try to grab a CVE. And
Why wait until tomorrow? Start it today.
Yeah, just wait for us to finish the talk, I guess.
Yeah, wait for an hour.
If anyone can get that Mayor link, would be awesome. Yeah, I just got my Trillium back. Actually, Trillium crashed. I think that's
Yay!
that's embarrassing. If
It
Bull is
happens.
in the chat, is gonna taunt me. Anyways,
Imposter syndrome is real. Kanemi, is that how you pronounce that? Forgive me. And I've had this job for a month and a day, and I'm saying that over and over again because I still can't believe it. It's pretty awesome, I think. That being said, I'm still wondering how I tricked them into hiring me. I mean, they gave me access to all of the notes that they took during the interviews, and they were all impressed. He knew his stuff. He knew web app more than anyone we've done. He knows this, he knows that, and all that's cool and all. But I still am like, did I deserve it? But then I just got to keep remembering to myself, yes, they hired me for a reason. The people doing these, for the most part, are not dumb. They're not going to be tricked by you. If you help someone, you learn. So help people, for the most part. Exactly. People are people. But if you even get one interview, a first round interview, that should prove to yourself that you know what you're doing. Because they liked what you had to say to move forward. Imposter syndrome is real, yeah, but you gotta, as long as you're learning and moving forward, you gotta try to suppress it. Because if you don't, it can eat you alive.
yeah, so yeah, imposter syndrome, yeah, as you said. Just put the 2 links in the event resources if people are interested. I don't have a thought about imposter syndrome really. Like, you should always try your best, but just know that I mean, I don't know. I'm so awkward.
Dumb boy asked a question. I just went back up in the chat and saw it. Sorry, I didn't see it the first time. Do you think passing out college freshers have potential to direct go into companies straight after college as penetration tester? college burden and all other things. Should I learn ethical hacking alongside with my SDE job or something? It depends. And that's an answer no one likes to get, but it's true. Do you want to be a penetration tester? Then go for it and learn that. Do you want to do SDE? Do you want to be a SOC analyst? Whatever you want to do, learn that. Do you think passing out college freshers have potential to go direct? I don't understand that question. I'm assuming you mean people straight out of college. I graduated in June of this year. I got hired in September of this year. My first day was in October. So if you mean people straight out of college, yeah, I think they have the potential to get a job. Is it easier? No, it's not. But it is possible.
We had a question from Nike Stalker that asked, is LinkedIn an avenue worth pursuing in job searches?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%, right? We agree. Like LinkedIn, I didn't like LinkedIn I mean, I didn't want to get into that because I don't really like social media. But LinkedIn is you have to be on LinkedIn.
You have to be on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is actually how I got my foot in the door to the job I'm at now.
Nice.
That LinkedIn plus networking plus working your butt off. It takes all three. I think Professor Messer said something about, you need 4 things to get a job. You need you don't need all 4 things, but if you have all 4 things, you're more likely to get the job. A degree, certificate, something, I forget the third thing, and knowing someone who works there. So for me, what I did was I was looking for a job, and this gentleman who goes by the Getch on Twitter and Discord, he reached out to me and we started talking, and he actually referred me to the job he was working at. I didn't get that job, but he and I became friends. He then introduced me to his old boss or coworker, I forget which, this guy who's now my boss, because he was looking for new employees, new red team operators. My networking referred me to LinkedIn to the boss, to the manager of the guy who was looking for people to work for him. So it was a combination of everything, but I got it through LinkedIn.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, if you're not on LinkedIn, I think you should add that to the list right now. If you can take away anything from this talk, just make a LinkedIn account if you haven't yet.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We had, outside of scheduled CTF events, what's the best way to get practical hacking experience? Maybe we can talk about platforms if you want. We can talk about it a little bit, but I'm gonna get into it.
Yeah. Let's talk platforms. Let's talk knowledge. Let's talk all of that. And I read a few questions along similar lines just now, also.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah. So there are so many free resources to gain knowledge and information, and if they're not free, they're cheap. Since we're on TCM's Discord, let's just start with the Practical Ethical Hacker, right?
Yeah. Shameless plug. Let's go ahead.
Hey, I don't have a referral link. I'm not getting paid for it. Whatever.
Yeah, me neither. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I'm not going to get any free courses. So actually, no, that's not true. That's not true either. I'm just kidding. But the Practical Ethical Hacker, even at full price, is worth not only is it worth every penny. Most of the questions I got asked for all of the interviews I did were on the PEH. That's a no-brainer. Do it. Okay? Free, full price, doesn't matter. It's worth every penny. The Try Hack Me subscription is a great investment. especially if you're doing it. Don't treat it like a gym subscription where you pay for it and then it's, I call it the fat tax. I pay a gym, you pay a gym subscription, but you never go, right? Don't do that. Don't make the try hack me like that. If you want, Hack the Box is good if you know what you're doing. If you want to pay for it and do the retired machines, you can. They have walkthroughs, so you're still learning something, but it's more geared towards people who know what they're doing. What I would say is one of the things that helped me a lot is virtual hacking labs. It's expensive, $99 a month. You only need 3 months. They give you a PDF, just kind of like the OSCP, the PWK. They give you a whole bunch of machines. There's no walkthroughs, but they give you hints, and they link to what the box is referring to the PDF, so you can learn about what you should be doing and go from there. You've got Over the Wire. You've got all sorts of free resources and cheap resources. It's never been easier to learn what you want to learn than it is now.
Yeah.
So as far as platforms go, do any of those. CyberSec Labs, I haven't seen them update anything in a long time, but their content is so amazing. Go there, utilize that. I know that INE and eLearn is still a good source for learning. I know that's kind of a touchy subject for people right now, but it's where I learned a lot of stuff also. Just if you want to learn it, you can find it. If you can't find it, then ask. We're all here to help.
We're gonna maybe actually it's good because on Try Hack Me there's gonna be Advent of Cyber, which is coming up 1st of December, and I think it's a good way to get started. Maybe we actually have esqy here from Try Hack Me. I'm gonna invite him to speak if he wants to. If you wanna speak about the platform esqy, I don't know if you just received can you maybe request? I sent you an invite, so you should be able to see it. If you want to talk about
2 1 2 testing 1 2.
Hello esqy guys, this event by the way is sponsored by Raid Shadow by Try Hack Me. I'm actually gonna set up a giveaway.
I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I just love
it's not.
Watching people learn, and I think it's one of the best ways to do it. Fearless, you've been absolutely everything this guy's saying. Listen to it. Everything.
You want to talk about Advent of Cyber that's coming up? Where I set up the giveaway?
100%. Yeah. So Advent of Cyber. Hopefully, a lot of you have already partaken in the previous ones. So Advent of Cyber 1 was a bit of a punt on how the platform is working, and it was, I don't want to say difficult because it was beginner level, but it was quite tricky to do. So for last year's one, they decided to go even more easier, and each day it told you about a concept and had a box for that concept. Some of them were designed by Dark of Try Hack Me, some of them were by JH, some of them were by Tiberius. So we had a few kind of big names in the industry, and every single day there was something new. And every week there was if you do a room or a day, you'll get a virtual raffle ticket. You don't physically get one, you don't get it in your inbox or anything silly like that, but Try Hack Me make note of it. And then at the end of the week, there was a draw for a minor prize from all the people that completed the rooms. Obviously, the more tickets you get, the better. And then at the end of the event, so on Christmas Day, everybody gets put into the draw for some of the prizes. Now, I am not prepared. However, the prizes this year, the big ones are 5 PWK courses, also known as PEN 200 and the OSCP certification. There are 4 ASUS ZenBooks, a little hack top for you. Proving Grounds vouchers, there's 20 of those. Throwback, which is cracking, a couple of Raspberry Pis, some Hack 5 swag, so a couple of rubber duckies, a couple of pineapples, a couple of OMG cables. There is some CompTIA Security Plus exam vouchers, and a whole bunch of really, really cool stuff. because they haven't told me too much about it, I'm gunning for a PWK. So even though there's 5 available, in your minds, just think there's 4, because I'm totally winning that. Totally winning it.
All right, guys, go into the event resources channel. Okay, there's going to be a giveaway that's going to last 2 minutes only, so you need to react to the message in the 2 minutes. Just setting it up real quick.
Fearless. So I've been keeping an eye on the chat as well, and because it seems like Alek was having trouble keeping track of the questions, I've pasted a few of them across.
Guys, really quick, go to the event resource, react to the thing. 2 winners for a 1-month Track Me voucher. Thank you, esqy, for
Awesome.
Oh, don't worry about that. I like to see people succeed. So one of the questions that I'm personally interested in is about the kind of preparation for walking in. So a lot of people are saying, for instance, do you think computer science engineering would be helpful to get a job in pen test? Do you think being an SOC analyst would be a good? So from the experiences that you've got, what sort of relevant experience do you feel would be a positive for getting a job as a pen tester?
Well, I mean, I cleaned swimming pools before I was a pen tester, so, I'm sure anything else would be a much more, a much better help than coming in and knowing how to balance chemicals. So, if you know how to turn a computer on, I think you were more prepared than I was just by cleaning pools. Obviously, I'm exaggerating to make a point. If you're going to do any sort of computer science, great. If you're going to do any sort of blue team, great. They say if you want to be better, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, so to speak. We're not enemies in this case, but it's like the best analogy I can think of. If you want to be a better pen tester, you got to know the defenses that are out there and know how to get around them. If you want to be a better blue teamer, you got to know what the red team is doing. You got to know how they're going to attack. So it's not so much computer science, it's not so much SOC analyst, it's not so much any of that. Learn everything that's out there. Learn what you are going to be going up against. And then understand that we're all friends. We're all on the same team. We all want everything to be secure. We're just going about it in a different way. Work together. So my experience has been TryHackMe, has been Hack the Box, Virtual Hacking Labs, has been Discord. That was my experience. And my degree is literally in cybersecurity. I have a bachelor's degree from Grand Canyon University and a Bachelor's of Science in Information Technology with an emphasis in cybersecurity. I earned that degree while owning my own business, working 12 hours a day, raising a family. I have a daughter and a son and a wife. While going to school, while earning my certificates, while getting my CVE, I did it all. I wanted it. If you want it, you'll learn it. If you learn it, you'll know it, and that will prepare you. It doesn't matter what you're learning, just learn. I guess I shouldn't say that. It does matter what you're learning. But, be focused. Be focused on what you're learning, I think is the better phrase.
Okay. I mean, today I learned that the Grand Canyon has a school down the bottom there. That's incredible.
It's technically in Phoenix, but yeah, when I learned that it's not in the Grand Canyon, I was a little sad.
So, okay, Super Beast has just asked a cracking question. How long did you study hacking and cybersecurity before you felt you were competent enough to start actually applying for jobs?
I still don't feel like I'm competent enough to apply. I don't think I ever will. I really don't think I ever will, to be honest with you. And I think that is actually part of what will make me a better pen tester, is because I feel like I'm constantly behind, so I'm constantly wanting to learn. I'm constantly wanting to get better because I'm never satisfied, because I think there's always going to be someone who's better than me. So I keep learning, so I keep going. I don't think I'm good. I mean, I know I am because I've been able to teach, I've been able to help, but I don't feel like I am. I don't know how to explain it better than that. And forgive me if that's kind of vague.
That's fine. That touches upon the imposter syndrome that one of the guys was asking about a little bit earlier on.
Yeah. So
Okay, you touched upon the interviewing process earlier. Now let's say you've done Try Hack the Box, you've done Try Hack the Box. That's right. I'm calling all of the sites Try Hack the Virtual Proving Lab Box. So you've done all of those. You don't feel prepared, but you just strike out, find a job, and then they get a call and they're interested in you. They've said, right, come in for an interview. That day, as you're walking, or before the interview, how do you prepare to be walking into that room and talking to these people about a potential job?
Prepare that day. If you're trying to prepare the day of, you're preparing too late. You need to be.
You know what I mean? Okay, prepare for the interview.
So, if to prepare for any sort of interview for the industry you want, you really should be know. Wow, I can talk today. Let me start over. Hi, my name is Mike. I go by Fearless. No, I'm just kidding. You prepare with Try Hack Me. You prepare with, the PWK. If you're going in for a pen testing job, you should know how to pen test. You should know that, WordPress is not all that reliable. It's pretty vulnerable for the most part. You should know that a reverse shell is a thing. You should know what a SQL injection is, or even what SQL is. You should know these things ahead of time. The way you prepare for an interview, though, to kind of get your nerves together, is you just breathe. I just took a bunch of deep breaths right beforehand and went and reminded myself that they are interviewing me for a reason, and that I need to just trust what I know and just be confident.
Be fearless, someone might say.
Exactly. Be fearless. So, and also, can you guys stop sending me friend requests too? That would be
Oh
great.
my god, guys, can you guys stop, please? It's
Honestly, boys, you get used to it.
yeah, I mean, I
So
get
many
DMs
outstanding.
every day because I'm admin here, even though I don't know what I'm doing. But,
Yeah, even I
it is what
I
it is.
send you them. I send you them as well. The pings.
Yeah, you ping me, you ghost ping me every time, dude. It's
So
okay.
for Phyllis. So I am back in my IT days. One of the interviews that I did was for an IT company. Now, when I went in, the first part of the interview was with their IT technician, and he had me fix a few issues with some computers that he had as tests. In a pen testing role, with the interview that you did, or in the interviews that you did they test your hacking ability or your knowledge through practical demonstration?
Yes. So I had 3 different companies give me a take-home test. One of them was all web app, and they said I was not allowed to use Burp Suite. Like, I couldn't use Burp Suite Pro or Community. Yep, they said I cannot use Burp Suite. If everything I'm going to find, I will be able to find without it. I failed. Whatever.
Would you want to work for a company who didn't let you use Burp Suite?
No, I wouldn't. But I thought it would be. I knew right then and there that I didn't want to work for them, but I thought it would be fun to at least try the challenge anyway. But I failed and whatever. The other 2 companies that gave me a take-home test were very similar to how the OSCP is, in that they gave you a bunch of boxes and they said hack them and write a report. I had a week for them, for the 2 pen test ones. There were about 8 machines for one and 10 machines for the other. And wait, no, what am I thinking? Hang on. I think I'm confusing a lot of things right now.
It's a bit of an intense situation here, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Either way, yes, I've had people give me machines to hack and write a report for. And I got, for one of them, there was 8 machines. I got 7 of the 8. I wrote a report, sent it in, and they offered me a job. So that was cool. Some people don't like that approach. I do, because you can be in an interview and be really nervous, and they'll ask you a question that any other situation you know the answer to, and you're in the interview and you go, I'm sorry, a computer? I don't know what a computer is. So then they say, okay, well, relax. Here's our little take-home test that we made. Comfort of your own home, private, you're alone, no one's watching you, any resource, go for it. I like that approach. And then if they say, hey, here's a virtual machine, download it and hack it, that's a test right there. Can you even download a virtual machine? Do you even know how to do that? That's a test in and of itself. If you don't know how to do that, maybe you shouldn't be applying. It's a good thing to do, in my eyes.
You
Yeah,
see, so
actually,
that's
I had the same thing for my job. I had to do a Vulnhub machine, and I think a good like advice for people, like maybe you know how to root boxes on Hack the Box or Try Hack Me or whatever. Maybe you know to do that, but do you know how to report it? Do you know how to like deliver to the client? How to explain the vulnerabilities you found and how to fix them? If you don't know report writing, you should really learn it, because that's what a company is going to test you against. And that's actually how I mean, it was a determining factor. They told me that in hiring me, because they liked my reports. And yeah, actually, I used the I used the TCM sample report, and I made a report on that machine, and I sent it, and they said, yeah, it's good writing. So again, guys, if you need to take notes, maybe note that, guys. Try to make reports to train yourself.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think you should try to write a report for any machine you do anyway, just to get better at it. The machines are like OSCP level or basic level on Try Hack Me or Hack the Box. They were a mix of both.
yeah. Yeah.
One of the machines I did for this company was really easy. Like it took me all of 5 minutes to do, and I thought I messed up because of how simple it was. Some took me a couple of days. I'm thankful they gave me a week to do it. One thing I'll say, if you're in that same situation where they say, hey, here's our test, give it to us and write a report, there's a good chance they're not going to ask you to do a remediation with it. Put the remediation in. Always go above and beyond. Try to not just break even, do the bare minimum. Go do more. And that will make you stand out.
Yeah.
Solid advice. Yeah.
And sorry about my mic. I was just told that it was rubbing up, like it sounded like I was rubbing it. I don't know. I'm wearing a jacket because it's cold in my house, so I apologize if that got annoying to anybody.
Are you living in Alaska or something?
No, I'm in California. It's in the 70s, so I'm like really, really cold.
Okay. So,
Okay,
I mean,
Mayor.
to build on what you guys were saying, one of the challenges that I give some of the newbies in my server, which I'm not going to advertise, I say my server, the server that I do the mentoring in, is try the next box you do, even if it's a very, very easy CTF. Just, in fact, pick an easy one in any of the sites that you do, even over the wire, and do your pen test, take notes, and then tomorrow, get a full night of sleep. Don't do it on the same day. Write a report or a walkthrough using only the notes that you took on the day. That will get you ready for the way that OSCP works. Plus, it means in a professional environment, when you're not actually physically able to get back to the network, you can still you know the level of notes that you need to take. You know some of the stuff that you don't need to put in there because it's a waste of time, all that sort of stuff. So do try that for yourselves.
That's actually a really good idea. I think I'm going to do that.
But you've got a job, you don't need to. It's fine.
No, but I mean, it's good practice. I think I want to do that anyway.
100%. And also the PEH has a template, but also for those who are looking at OSCP, and I know that's the golden egg for pen testing. What so many people do not do is go onto the OffSec website and just look. If you look through the the OffSec website, you can find a sample report of something that they're expecting. So there's another sample that you've got. You can also download a syllabus for the entire course. So, and from what I understand, because I've spoken to a few guys who have done the OSCP, the the titles for the syllabus is just the contents of the PDF they give you. So if you want to get any pre-OSCP training in, just go through each of the headings. One of them says SOCAT and NetCat. Like, there's nothing stopping you for using free resources just to get a bit of a head start. So lots and lots of stuff to do pre getting a job, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So I saw 2 questions, and you mentioned mentoring, so I want to touch on that a little bit.
Oh, sure.
Real quick, Hack the Box Academy is a great starting point before you're cracking into Hack the Box. Honestly, if you want a really good, cheap, good resource that will cost you almost no money and will teach you anything you need to know and everything you need to know, do try Hack Me. $10 a month isn't that bad, and that's
Hashtag ad. Sorry.
What?
I was saying hashtag ad.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Sorry.
Well, the interesting part is if and this is me advertising what I do, is if you're kind of active in the Discord, I give away so many vouchers. Like, I just dish them out. A lot of the time, it's a challenge. A lot of the time, I'll challenge somebody, for instance, to do a write-up or something, and you'll get it for free. We have giveaways. Other members, like a few members, when they get a job, they'll buy 10 and just give them away because we help them. So if you're active on this Discord and on the other one, we're friends. Both of the Discords, believe me. Apart from me and Alek. Me and Alek are enemies. So.
Yeah. There was a good question from Nelbag. He asked before the event, how did the thought of pen testing as a career compare to the reality of pen testing as a career? Like, I guess, how did we imagine the job versus how it actually is? I don't know if you can...
Yep, and that is a good question. I think I will have I think this time next year, I'll have a better answer for you. But as of right now, it's pretty much what I expected my first month to be. I don't know how to explain it better than that. I knew I was going to be shadowing people. I knew I was going to be kind of I'm not saying hands off, meaning I'm not doing anything, because I am working. I am doing some things, but I'm not really participating in any of the engagements. Like, I'm technically part of them, but I'm shadowing. I'm seeing what they're doing, how they're doing it, how they're writing their reports. And that's pretty much what I expected my first month would be. It's actually how I expect my first few months to be. So, tell you what, in a year, ask me that question, and I'll have a better answer for you. To the mentoring thing, also, that I will say, if you can find a mentor, you will have found a good thing indeed. But it's a two-way street. You want to find a mentor who not only cares about you and wants to help you learn, you also have to care. You also have to try. Your mentor isn't Google. Google is Google. Your mentor is there to help you, supplement you, or supplement what you need, I should say, not give you and spoon feed you the answers. I will say it's a very well-known secret. It's a secret that really isn't one. The mayor, Joe, was my mentor and still is my mentor for a good year. He and I are friends. I like Joe a lot, and I owe a lot of my success to him mentoring me. And he's actually in the chat right now. Hi, Joe.
We wouldn't be friends if he knew how bad I smell in person.
That's fair.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Doing okay. If it's okay, I'll jump in on the you think it's like versus what it actually is. Comment if you want.
Yeah, because you have more experience, so sure, you can go ahead.
So, yeah, I mean, it was just over a year ago that I landed my first pen test gig, and I think one of the things that I thought going into it versus the reality of the position is how much cool guy shit you think you're going to do versus how much you actually do. So probably between 75 and 90% of this job isn't actually hacking something. It's researching what it is you're looking at and how to deal with it. So first and foremost, you need to consider yourself a researcher. rather than just a hacker, an ethical hacker, a pen tester. It's so widely encompassed, that term. Secondly, understand one of the things that I didn't expect that I would see as much, but I do, is clients that don't understand basic security principles. Being able to talk to them from a dollars and cents standpoint or the bottom line standpoint is what I've found I had to do, because oftentimes you're talking to executives, you're talking to C-level folks who don't understand the technical side of the house when it comes to their information security. So understand things like risk, understand things like threats, and how to communicate, the difference between accepting risk, mitigating risk, eliminating risk, ignoring it. Those are things that are huge. And then finally, don't underestimate how much time this job takes. So I thought once I got my foot in the door and I got my first job, that some of the stress would go away. You quickly find yourself trying to remain relevant while working, 40, 50 hours a week on projects. And you can quickly become overwhelmed with seeing new things pop up all the time and feeling like you need to consistently figure out how to do that stuff in your free time. Make sure that you're finding a good balance, because the amount of work you put in prior to get into the game or to your first day as a pen tester can quickly become your full-time job plus the job you're working at the same time. So those are the things that the biggest ones for me that were what I thought versus the reality of things. Anyways, thanks for letting me talk.
No problem. So you're telling me that when you're pen tester, you don't get to find SSH private keys in robots.txt? Is that right?
The only time to be completely honest, the only time I've ever exploited anything SSH related is Raspberry Pis, and it's like 3D printers and stuff inside a network, and they just literally leave it as Pi Raspberry, and I get so excited because anyone who knows me knows I love Raspberry Pis. So anytime I see that there's a Raspberry Pi pop up in like Nessus or an Nmap scan or something, I always go right for Pi as the username and Raspberry as the password, and like I've had like 100% success rate anytime I found one. So
not changed any of mine. All of mine are still default.
But that goes back to assumed risks and threats for environments and things that you have to learn to talk to your clients about. We were able to put Responder on that Raspberry Pi and run it on a different network. We didn't get anything off that traffic, but these are things that you're able to do once you gain access to a machine. So while a client might say, that's just a Raspberry Pi, that's just a 3D printer. Yeah, it's a 3D printer, but I can capture hashes now. I can relay hashes. I can pivot off of this $35 credit card, PC to continue trying to take over. So, but yeah, stay curious.
So Fearless, in your first month, you say you're shadowing people at the moment.
Yes.
With all the projects. Has anything so far surprised you? Something that perhaps you didn't know that people did through, the processes or the procedures or anything like that? Has anything surprised you that you've gone, oh, didn't know that?
So far, I'm gonna say no. Only because I'm coming into everything with like such an open mind. I'm curious about how everything is done. One thing that's really cool is the amount of stuff that people use, the amount of tools, I should say, that people use come from GitHub. Professionals use GitHub. Like the free tools still are really awesome and relevant. Yeah, a Burp Suite Pro license is nice, Nessus is nice, but Threader 3000, shameless plug for the mayor, still works. I mean, you probably shouldn't use it in a real life engagement, but
I use it all the time in real life engagements.
Do you really?
I swear to God. Why wouldn't you? Nessus only gives you so much information back. So, if you're able to find a target that does look juicy, I absolutely run Nmap still. I absolutely run Threader 3000 to see what ports are sitting there.
Yeah, you run Nmap on everything too. I'm just saying, like, what am I thinking of?
Absolutely, I run my tools on engagements.
Yeah, no, you should. So and not so much that surprised me. I think that's just really cool. To answer your question in a very roundabout way.
Fair enough.
And you might find yourself building your own tools. Mike Fearless here. I mean, he's was just telling me he was just put in charge of managing virtual machines for his organization, and that could quickly become wrapping up tools that he sees a need for and saying, hey, I'm going to figure out how to develop this in Python. I think it'd be good for our team. And he goes from managing VMs to building out one specifically for the org, or adding tools that he thinks are good for the job. And he might not know it, but he quickly becomes influential when he does that sort of thing in his organization. So
plan.
Yeah, Mike, I have actually a question for you. And while you answer that question, guys, keep an eye on the event resource. I'm going to set up the next giveaway for TCM courses. My question was if you could do like something different in your path to the pentest job, what would it be?
So the end goal is still being a pen tester, but the path.
If you could do something different in your studies and everything.
Yes. So I kind of went about this in a roundabout way. I very much did not do the right things a lot of times. But all of my mistakes led me to where I am now, and I'm thankful for them. That being said, if I could streamline it, I would absolutely go and do PEH, try hack me. And then the rest of TCM's Academy, and then Hack the Box, and then the PWK. Virtual machine somewhere in there. Virtual hacking labs. I can talk very well today.
Well, this is like an interview, so this is what's happening.
Well, no, this is actually me every day. I think my wife's listening too, and she'll tell you I stumble over my words all the time when I'm not telling her puns and making her roll her eyes and question why she's married to me. But no, that I think that would be my order. The PEH I would absolutely do first, and then I would go to try hack me, and then just do their beginner path, and then try to do all their intermediate stuff, do all the learning paths. Oh, you know what? No, let's do that. PEH, try hack me, Port Swigger Academy. I would absolutely do that. That's a brilliant free resource that you should utilize. And then
you walk in and the interview says you can't use Burp Suite. Oh yeah,
that's so dumb. I'm still annoyed.
Yeah, Phyllis talked about it a few minutes ago.
Yeah, so I had a job where they said you can't use any sort of proxy, no Burp Suite, no Zap, no nothing. Everything you're gonna find, you can find manually through the web app. I think I even asked you to help me out with that once. No. That was the one where I kept complaining to you. I went, hey, this is stupid. Remember, Joe? Anyway.
I absolutely do remember. I thought it was insane that they have you manually poking at stuff for hours and being inefficient.
So
sounds like the OSCP.
Exactly like the OSCP, which I don't have, by the way, if you're just joining us. I don't have job experience or the OSCP, and I went from being a poolman to a pen tester.
Hey, me neither. Like,
it can
no
be
OSCP
done.
gang. Let's go.
Alek, it's rigged. It's rigged.
It's rigged.
Okay, so just to throw it out there, Toiga and Parker Boy have won the 2 Try Hack Me vouchers.
Hey, congratulations.
Afterwards. And for the TCM courses, we've got Tefnord, Top Secret Art PC, and Fromaster. Congratulations.
Hey, Fro.
Hey, Fromaster, you won a TCM course. Good job, man.
So
I hope you don't have all of them, by the way, like, because it's gonna only be like PH, LP, W. Okay, that's great then.
But obviously, guys, we have to notice that there were 69 entrants, which is nice.
Nice. I mean, 69 out of 170. Are you guys like sleeping or what's going on?
I don't get it. What's the deal with 69?
It's just quite hard to say in French.
What the? Hey, your French is pretty good.
So
Well-
I would say to answer the question, PEH or CEH, I don't have the CEH, and I think Mayor can talk on that, right, Mayor?
I have the CEH. Somebody asking about CEH.
Yeah, they were saying, should you go for CEH or OSCP?
Okay, I
And
see
then,
it.
and then just really quickly, then someone said, would you recommend EJPT or PNPT, so we can maybe talk about certifications?
Sure, I've got all of those.
Yep.
So the CEH, if you're from a country like India, the CEH is almost going to be a requirement. So anytime you look at certificates, and I'm going to take over the certificate talk for a minute, you want to look geographically where you live for what is expected wherever you plan on working. If you Google, what do I need to get into or to become a pen tester or become an ethical hacker, all you're going to get is SEO, search engine optimization. People who are really good at making sure that they sit at the top of the list in those Google searches. And things that you're going to see there, EC Council, CompTIA, big money spenders who have a lot of money to make sure that their social presence and their Google presence stays at the top. So look geographically first. If you want to get a job in New York City, Google jobs in New York City. Don't Google jobs in the United States. If you want to get a job in India, Google those jobs in India and see what those jobs require. And you're going to see that geographically that sometimes certificates are somewhat tribal, where one city or metro area might be an ISC squared kind of metro area where more people expect, like the SSCP, and then you'll find other places that don't have an ISC squared group locally that will be more towards like Security Plus. So look around where you live. As for EJPT or the PNPT, I cannot stress enough that you should just do the pen test student course, whether you plan to take the exam or not. There is good content in there, and it's free. You don't have to feel obligated to do the exam. I did it back in 2019, and good exam, but by no means do you have to do it. But the coursework itself, if you've never been in a prepared lab environment, it's a really, really good first step because you get all of these different, classes, and you get these different topics that you can study and then go practice those skills. So
the only negative there is the guy says meterpreter, like meter preter.
Yeah, meter preter.
That's not meter preter. It's meterpreter. God damn it.
I love that guy. He's great.
But, I mean, to build on what you said about being locational, the UK, for example, they have their own council.
Yeah, you got to have CREST.
You've got CREST and you've got CHECK. And you've got to pass certain exams. Now, you can use things like OSCP as an equivalency, but because they've already, like on high, have said that you need to redo that portion of your path, which is normally just a security analyst thing, but they'll say you need to redo your OSCP every 3 years. Now, balls to that. I'm not spending $1,000 every 3 years just to redo the OSCP, but it's 100% worth looking into it because they have their own Check Council and they have their own CREST Council as well, which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
And you might find yourself in the United States being told that you need to get CREST certified or meet those requirements simply because a lot of US-based companies are now starting to pick up work.
The UK since Brexit,
in the UK and in European Union. So you might find that even though you don't geographically live around one of those areas, that at some point your employer might say that you need to do it. But by no means, don't feel obligated if you don't live in the UK to leave this presentation today and go research CREST and the nightmare that it is for people.
It's just it's more. The thing is, it's easy. Like the exams themselves are very easy. It's just the bureaucracy and the red tape, and ultimately the cost is a pain in the neck. But if it's what you want to do, it's worth doing. And if you get into a decent company, they will just fund you right the way through it. So
as for EJPT or PMPT, I think the PMPT will likely provide you a more comparable environment to what you would see in a small pen test. So it's going to cover everything from external to web app. recon, and then the internal stuff. The EJPT, it's pretty beginner level. It does have web app. It does have some internal stuff. And it's really, it's a good exam. But again, I wouldn't feel obligated to do the EJPT, but I would feel obligated to recommend that you check out the PTS course. And again, it's free on the INE website. I like the PMPT exam itself. I thought it was a great exam, and it's growing. So I think that in the next year or two, the name value will continue to grow. CEH or OSCP, again, that's going to be strictly up to what's required in your geographical area. So before you go shelling out a bunch of money, make sure you do a lot of research to see what employers, where you live or where you choose to work at, see what they're accepting or requiring before you get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I did EJPT for fun, just because it was only a couple.
It's the only exam I ever failed. I was brand new. I had no pen testing experience or anything, and I got so frustrated on the first part because I didn't read the instructions.
Yeah.
And but that was back when if you bought the elite package, you got 3 tries. So I just kind of YOLO'd at the multiple choice answers, which you can't pass if you do that. There's just no mathematical way to get them all right. And then the next day I started over and passed it in a few hours.
I'm still going to put that on my CV, Mayor, just saying.
It's on mine, I think.
I passed it first time, then you didn't. That's
okay. I got no shame.
I will say I think the EJPT and the ECPPT, I actually had it was fun for me. And you can't say that for many, very many exams.
Yeah. I mean, I think because I did the EJPT fairly recently, I did it back in kind of March time. I have a lot of people asking me about it, and the bit that stops everybody, the bit that everybody grinds to a halt, is I can't give too much away, but I don't want to call it a pivot because it's not really a pivot. It's
find the secret server lab. That's all you got to say. And if you don't read the instructions, you're going to miss a big part there that will cause you utter frustration. So
exactly, but that's what slows everybody down. I did the whole thing in about 4 hours, and I made a grilled cheese halfway through. And the bit that slowed me down was that because I just couldn't find it. And then when I looked into the what's the word, the scope document, as it were, at the very start, which is half a page, then I was like, oh, okay. And then it just all went very, very easily after that. And yeah.
He-Man, I see your comment there. A lot of people just use the terms pivoting and moving, together. I do it as well. I wouldn't be so hung up on the pivoting thing, but you are pivoting or maneuvering or moving or whatever you want to call it from one network to another. The way you're doing it is just people who get upset about that stuff are just too try hard. Ignore some of those official versus unofficial terms.
The way that I always explain it with people, now I know this is going to go back to my domain, as it were. When people say, what do I need to do to research for the EJPT? I say, do the INE content, because that's free, and the guy says meet up reader. Then do the CC pen testing course on TryHackMe, because that covers all of the bases that you're likely to see. And then do Wreath, not the whole thing, just the first part of it that covers pivoting, port forwarding, and routing. Once you've done that, I reckon anybody could do the EJPT, not with their eyes closed, but with at least one hand behind their back.
I agree with that. I do. Find the secret server lab. You do that, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So,
so Fearless, in the company that you're in now, can you already see ahead as to where you want to be within that company or the roles that you want to kind of be aiming for?
Sorry, I saw Hypnotoad. Anytime I see Hypnotoad, I laugh. I do, actually, yeah. So there's the naming conventions within the company are weird, but outside of the company, it's basically like the next roll up from where I am right now would be a senior pen tester. I would be considered a penetration tester. They don't really have a junior role, so to speak. But my goal is to get promoted within the first year. And I told my boss and I told his boss that as well. So they're looking at me. They told me not only what I need to do, but also how to stand out to make that happen pretty easily. So yeah, I see my path. I see what I want to do, and I'm making a plan on how to do it. So, and for me, honestly, it's not even so much the fact that I want to climb the corporate ladder and get, a pay raise or anything like that. I really do I love the job. I love the work, even just the mundane details of, hey, it's a report. Like, I truly love it all.
It's been
And
1 month, man. It's been 1 month.
no, I know. And I was just about to say I'm in the honeymoon phase, and that's gonna fade. But for now, I truly love it all. So, we'll go from there. Sorry. My family are huge Buckeye fans, just like Joe and his family.
Oh my God, they're wasting Michigan State.
And
I'm not a
my
big
daughter-
fan, but my wife is. She's out there watching it.
My daughter just walked in a Buckeye cheerleading outfit, so that was cute. So real quick, because I got distracted, I started dating my wife, and she goes, "So do you have a college team?" I go, "No." She goes, "You're a Buckeye fan." Like, I'm a what fan? She goes, "If you want to be part of my family, you need to like the Ohio State Buckeyes." And
I
I
don't
gotta.
I don't know what that
And-
is. I'm a pasty British guy, so
It's an American thing. We're good. So
I'm here French and I'm completely lost. So
I thought it was a sports team.
yes.
it is. It's a college football team.
Oh,
Oh, I'm more into hockey, so.
So, anyway, so I forgot the question. My daughter distracted me. I apologize.
Where do you want to be? Where are you heading towards in your company?
Oh, so yeah, within a year, I want to get promoted to senior. I don't know if that's going to be feasible, but I want to do it.
So what is the senior role? Would they be the project manager of a case that comes in or an engagement that comes in?
So, within the company I'm at right now, everyone at some point will lead an engagement. It doesn't matter your role. They kind of do it on a rotating basis. That way, everyone, no one's really in charge of engagements. Everyone just kind of helps each other out, and it's just who's going to be spearheading it this time. And I could be part of that now. Really, it's just at this point, from what I'm understanding, and I've only been in a month, I think it really just is a title and a pay raise. I don't know if it's anything else, but it's a goal that I'm striving for either way.
It's solid experience. Let's be honest. I mean, even on a CV, if it's because that's project management and engagement management and whatever way you want to, put a word soup around it. That's
Yes.
you've led a team kind of thing, which sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm. And so exactly, and so that's going to be awesome, and I can do that now in my current role too. Like I will at some point in my current role be leading an engagement. But one thing that I thought was cool was I was talking to my boss's boss, and he and I were probably going to meet like once a quarter, right? That's kind of how it's going to go. He likes to meet with everybody, but he let me know that the way they run is not a top-down hierarchy. It's more of a everyone is on the same plane, just with different titles. If
Like
I
Valve.
need, yeah. So I think I heard you right, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say yes anyway. So basically, he is like 4 levels ahead of me, technically. But in his eyes and the way he runs it, we're all on the same plane. If I need him to do something, he will do it. If he needs me to do something, I'll do it, sort of thing. It's not you're going over your boss's head. No. It's we're all together. And I actually asked around, and everyone's like, yeah. Everyone, the titles are just, what you're getting paid. Everyone is on the same plane. Everyone's on the same playing field.
See, in this industry, I think that makes sense because, for example, you might be very, very good at web stuff, whereas your boss's boss might be like incredible at networking.
Mm-hmm.
and another guy might be very good at web pivoting, whatever it is, or network pivoting and stuff. I quite like that idea. And this is why when people kind of ask for mentors and stuff, I always say the communities like this one, like the JH community, like the other community that I'm not going to keep advertising. If you've got something like that behind you, you've got an entire community of mentors, all of which can have their own specializations. And I don't know anything about it. I'm very, very crap at buffer overflows, but I know at least 3 or 4 people who can go through it in minute detail with me. But on the other hand, they come to me talking about any social engineering stuff. So we have our kind of differences and our similarities there, which I love, having a cyber mentor community, as it were.
I would agree. So, in buffer overflows, that was actually one thing I did was I wrote out a whole bunch of shell, like skeleton Python scripts for the different stages of buffer overflows, and I did the same for Ruby, and I put that on my GitHub.
Copycat.
That's something. Yeah, exactly. I basically just copied Joe's everything and put it on my GitHub. No, I'm just kidding.
That's why all my good stuff is private now.
So
sarcastic. They've already touched upon how important buffer overflows are.
Yeah. So then from there, I basically said, look, you can find this anywhere, but this is my little take on it. This is what I did. Yes, you can have that. I love you too.
We love you as well, Fearless. Don't worry.
Hey, thanks. I mean, I was talking to my daughter, but I love you too, I guess. So basically, the skeleton Python scripts and Ruby scripts I wrote were basically what I found in a bunch of different places. I copied little bits from everywhere, and I put it in, and I put that on my GitHub. And I went, look, this is not unique, but it's here, and it's what I can show for something that I did to help out. And it's got like my own little twist on it. And it's something to show that I tried. It's something to show that I actually want to try to give back, even if I don't know how to do Python all that well. I saw a question, I forget how far back, and I forget from who, so forgive me, but they said, do you need to know Python or Linux to be a good pen tester? You absolutely need to know Linux. You need to know Windows. You should know Unix. Python? I mean, Joe writes scripts for fun, right? Like
that's how I learn.
Yeah. But I have tried for a few years to learn Python, and I got to the point where I can now kind of understand what they're trying to do, but that's it. There are people out there who can write you anything in any language, and that's great. I am not one of those people.
I fully agree with you. I know the basics of programming languages because I did them in school, but I think for penetration testing, it's more important to know how to follow code rather than be able to write it.
Yeah, like follow code and modify it if you need. Like sometimes exploits, they need to be modified a little bit for specific reasons. And if you can like read Python, understand it, and just like change a few lines, like add a variable or something, that's all you need to know, in my opinion, to really be good, like pen testing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the main reason I learned Python back in the day was my job was actually digital forensics, and we only really used Python for doing, I call it regex, but everybody else says regex. But it's regular expressions, obviously. But that's all we used the Python for, was doing regexes across cases. So I don't know Python, but I know enough to do the task that I had to do, if that makes sense.
I just build a O365 user tool, and it falls back on regex on a couple of the responses.
Okay,
love
it. Regular expression.
Yeah.
There's no reg.
Regular expression.
Is it GIF or GIF?
It's GIF.
GIF is a peanut butter. Hey, so somebody asked a bug bounty question. Do you want me to jump into that mess?
I mean,
No, not you. Anyone but you, Joe.
It's like, don't do it for the money, just do it for learning.
Yeah. Well, they said, do bug bounties matter? Is it fine if we get certs and do try hack me and hack the box and other stuff, but not get into bug bounties? The answer to that, White Hat, is yes. You never have to do bug bounties. You never have to join HackerOne or BugCrowd or Integrity or the plethora of other programs and that are available. You never ever have to do that.
They can be fun. They can be a lot of fun, but they're cherries on the top.
Yeah, and there's politics to it and ethical and moral questions to it that I won't get into here, so we don't get controversial. But if you're looking to just get a little bit of real world, what does a real website look like that I'm going to pen test, and just figure out some basic scanning and enumeration, just see if those programs even exist on like the platform and just poke around a little bit. But I would go into it with absolutely zero expectations beyond seeing how to run Nmap against a website and seeing what the results come back as, running the tool to see if like Sublister or FFUF or whatever it's called, and seeing what you can find for directories and subdirectories, and any of those tools, any of your basic scanning and enumeration tools. But do not go into bug bounty as a brand new person with expectations of anything more than just simply doing that. But to answer your initial questions, do they matter? I don't think they do. I've never gotten into them. And when I have tried them, all it's done is frustrated me more. Just the way they're managed and the way that a lot of companies don't update vulnerabilities, and you find something, you're like, this is it, I'm finally going to get some points, and then it's a dupe or duplicate.
Yeah, I doubt that they're dupes. That's the thing. They just don't pay out. Yeah.
And the last thing, be cautious of what you see online with a lot of the bug bounty successes, because there is so much lack of context with those successes. They aren't telling you things like, I did this in an invite-only program that none of you but me and 3 other friends of mine have access to. So the things that you're going to see when you're brand new on a bug platform are literally going to be the same thing 10 million other people see when they sign up as well and are poking at it at the same time. So take it with a grain of salt when you see somebody saying they got a $45,000 bounty. They're not telling you that this is most likely, not always, but most likely they've been invited privately to that. Whether it be through, I think Try Hack Me last year did some stuff with HackerOne for some invites.
Yeah, I did,
It oftentimes it's all about who you know to get those invites.
And even then, like I don't know if you guys know Cymex or Syzymex 7076. He turned down a lot of the invites that he got because they were all really low horrible level. Yeah, they were all not worth it.
Yeah, I was so appreciative to actually get some invites on that on HackerOne, but those programs were terrible. I mean, there's literally there was nothing there. Some of the scopes on them were just horrible. And a lot of them were like foreign languages. One of them came from a country that I'm like, I don't know that I should be doing this. I would have concern of like,
that's the most American thing I've ever heard.
It's true though. Like the Patriot Act exists, and I don't want to be pen testing this company over here and generating traffic from my home network. That's just kind of is this something I should really do? Even though I have permissions. So that's like 1/3 of my bug bounty tangent. But in short, they don't matter. But if you want to learn against a real target or a real environment, they're really good for scanning and enumeration. And if you want to dig more, I certainly encourage you. I'm not going to discourage anybody from trying them, but do look at the context of a lot of the successes you see.
Yeah, I mean, what was Begin Hunt did? What was it? SSRFs? That was his.
He was doing CSRF, but he was really, really good at it.
So good at it. And it's like he's like, oh, they're so easy, Mike. You can do it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you do jump into bug bounty and you're like, hey, I'm going to give this a run, target one thing. Don't turn it into the top 10, the OWASP top 10. Find one thing you're really good at, whether that's SQL injection, whether that's SSRF, which is a huge one right now. XME, etc. Find one vulnerability that you know how to exploit and exploit well, and just target that with all the programs that are available. Again, you might find that. Oh, go ahead.
If we're throwing out a net of all of the stuff that's going on, a question that came up earlier that I didn't realise there'd be an opportunity to bring it up, but I don't know who said it, but I'm really interested in the cloud. How has learning cloud pen testing been? And going forward, how important do you guys, the three of you guys, feel that the cloud pen testing learning is going to be?
It's vital. If you're interested in cloud, AWS does have security courses that. Doc, are you still in here? He just got his first job in the field. Literally, I think he just went and passed an AWS security course, if I'm not mistaken, and got a job doing it. Like just because he's certified and he had an in already from somebody that worked there. Whether it's Azure, whether it's Google Cloud, whether it's AWS, it's absolutely vital that you at least understand the basics of how each of them work. Azure has subscriptions and tenants and all these different services, and AWS has all these different services. You will quickly fall behind going forward if you don't keep up, and it's hard because they're still very vendor specific. If I had my choice of what to pick, me personally, I would go with Azure. That's not a endorsement for you all to go learn Azure. But
I look at it and say, what does everybody use? And that's the one I'd want to learn. And I've seen more AWS than Azure, to be honest.
So it can oftentimes look like that. A lot of companies that have a large sprawling Active Directory network will fall into Azure because Azure Active Directory integrates really, really well. And there's a difference for everybody listening here between Azure Active Directory and Windows Active Directory. They're not the same thing, but they do integrate really well. So a lot of larger organizations, and even smaller ones for that matter, the client I'm working on this week does it. They'll have integration with Azure to manage SharePoint, to manage Office 365, etc. And really it just keeps all those users access to their internal network resources as well as their Azure network resources. And really it depends on the implementation that the organization wants to put in. Like you said, AWS is huge and they're everywhere. But I would be almost certain that a good chunk of clients that you run into will have at least O365, which is going to run likely through an Azure tenant or an Azure subscription. So,
But I've only got experience with Exchange, so whichever that one jumps onto is something that I'd probably be okay with.
Sure,
that's how long I've been out of the system.
but to answer that question, yes to cloud. Yes, we are moving there. No, I don't think we're ever going to just land 100% in the cloud. But we are seeing more and more clients want cloud assessments, and a lot of your big vendors, your Coalfires, your Mandiants, etc. That they're having cloud engineers and cloud pen testers specifically working for them. And these people are being brought on with good money because there's a high demand and there's not a high, there's a low supply of AWS security engineers because it's so new still. So,
I'll be honest with you, I feel like we've moved really far away from the original.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Fearless.
Absolutely. That's guys. By the way, it's been an hour and a half. I think we're gonna stop here. There was just this last question. I think it's pretty good to wrap this up. Someone asked, what are the takeaways to this event? I think we're gonna go each and maybe say one or two if you have any ideas. And also, I'm gonna set up a last giveaway, so make sure to keep an eye on the other channel. My takeaways, and then I'm gonna set up the giveaway, would be one. Make a LinkedIn account, just as we said in the beginning. Absolutely make a LinkedIn account and network with people. And two would be train on your report writing because it's very, very important. And it's something that is going to be tested when in the hiring process. So yeah, that's my two things. Fearless, I don't know if you have any ideas.
Yeah, and just to go off of that real quick, you could be the best pen tester in the world, but that's not your deliverable. The report is. If you can't write a report, then you know you don't have a very good deliverable, and then you might be out of a job pretty soon. So, one of the takeaways that I would say for this, what's it like to start your first pen test job? This whole thing, it's been fun, and know that you're going to learn a lot, and you will suck at first. But you know, if you do it every day, you'll suck a little less every day, and then sooner or later you're gonna think you still suck, but you don't, and just keep trying, keep practicing. And take time for yourself. That's a big one that I don't think we touched on. I have come to Joe, I don't know how many times, at least twice, probably a whole lot more than that, saying, you know, just complaining, I can't get this, I can't do that, da da da. He goes, cool, you're done for a week. Take a break. You need it. And then you'll come back with fresh eyes, and hopefully you caught it in time that you'll still love it by the time you come back. That was something we didn't touch on, but I wanted to say right now.
Wait, I'll go next so that Mayo can finish off, because apparently he's good at finishing. So I think I'm going to steal what Mayo's probably going to say next, which is stay curious. Do not stop looking at stuff. Don't stop pulling stuff apart. Use all the resources. I know that there might be some contention between the likes of Try Hack Me and Hack the Box and Proving Grounds and Portswigger, but use them all. I use them all, and you guys should all use them all. And the second takeaway, and the thread going through all of this, is you might call it social engineering, you might call it social acuity, but everything is a people business. If you want to get a job in the interview when you're talking to people, don't forget they're not just looking at your technical ability. Technical ability can be taught to pretty much anyone. Do they want to spend 8 hours with you every day for the foreseeable future? So do work on your communication with people as well. You've got communities here. You've got people to talk to. Pull out of your comfort zone a little bit and just be you and be confident in your own abilities. Mic drop.
Is it my turn now, I guess?
Yes, it is.
Here's 10 more minutes. No, so the first one, diversify your training when you're trying to break in. So there is, just like everything else, a supply and a demand issue, and the greater the supply of a certain certification, the less value it holds when you're trying to set yourself apart from your peers. So, you know, if you see that a job requires the OSCP, you're going to have to expect that the majority of applicants applying next to you also will have the OSCP. So what sets you apart from them? So look at other training opportunities as well. Look at, you know, Pentester Academy, CRTP. Look at the PMPT. Look at different things to throw on your resume and sell yourself some more. And not only on paper, but also that knowledge, right? If everybody coming in has the same single baseline of OSCP, you all know just the same stuff. But if you've got, say, a Sector 7 course, or you've got the PTX, or a web app course, or something behind you, you're going to have additional knowledge. So don't be afraid to look at Udemy. Don't be afraid to look at TCM Academy. Don't be afraid to look at some of these smaller, more affordable training opportunities as well. A lot of us put a lot of time and effort into building those and making them available for folks who don't have the resources to afford the bigger ones. And then secondly, once you get your foot in the door, make sure you prop it open for everybody else after you. And what I mean by that is, once you're in the field, do what you can to improve it for the people who come after you. Don't ever forget what it was like to be that person fighting and clawing to get job interviews, get interviews, let alone jobs. And then when you're in a position of authority, or you're able to make decisions someday, the first thing you should think about isn't the bottom line. Think about how it sucked when you were that person who was about to be applying, and how you can improve that process. Because this is our industry, and we need to own it, and you guys need to own it too. So that's all for me. Thanks.
I will say
you,
this
Mayor.
real quick.
Yep.
To that point, I actually brought that up to my boss right after I got hired. I said, look, we need to think about maybe bringing people in who don't have any experience like me, who want to learn, who want to do this, who truly want it. And my boss literally, he goes, what do you think we're doing? I mean, we did that with you, and we're doing that more. We're still hiring.
Oh, snap. Sorry.
No, I thought that was beautiful. I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
Now let's try to do that with everyone. So no pressure, people who hire at Try Hack Me. What?
Yeah. I mean, there is some on Hack the Box. You can see some job things that say you have to be hacker rank and things like that. But no, yeah, Try Hack Me is great. If anybody does decide to wander over there, we're all brilliantly able to speak to you. No, seriously, if you need any help for anything, just come over and ask. That's what we're here for. I'd say probably a solid 50% of the people in this server are over there anyway. So I recognise there's so many of the names, so many. Apart from Alek, he's a newbie. I don't know who the hell he is.
Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. It's been a great event. Thank you for coming, esqy. Thank you for coming, Fearless and Mayor too.
So
it's been
Try
great.
Hack Me wasn't sponsored by this.
Nope.
That's where I learned most of my stuff. And
No,
esqy
it's just
kinda,
a genuinely good resource. That's all
Yeah.
it is, really.
exactly.
And yeah, so we have a
Okay,
little bit
so
of. Yep. Go
are
ahead.
we going to go ahead to a voice channel now just to talk rubbish with the rest of your community?
Sure, you can go to the voice channel, to the big study room if you
Big
if you
studio
want.
room. Le studio,
Just have a
studio
little bit
chambre
of
grande, oui.
little bit of a tradition. At the end of the event, you can ping the F out of me as much as you want, and also esqy, you can ping him. Make sure to mass ping him in the event chat, please.
Oh yeah, okay, I'll do my tradition. Okay, Alek, Mayor, and Fearless, what's your favourite Try Hack Me room?
Oh, I really, really liked the one that was based off of Cowboy Bebop. I can't remember what it's called, but that was, I think, my favorite one.
Okay, Mayor, your favourite one?
Gatekeeper.
Probably Steel Mountain, simply because I rewrote
Yes!
the HFS
Yes!
2.3 payload to be a one-liner.
I love Steel Mountain.
Yeah.
You've got to do it both ways. You've got to exploit it, and you've got to do it manually.
Yeah, so I as part of VHL, they've got that route. They have a challenge in virtual hacking labs, and I used that. Figured out. I basically reverse engineered the exploit that was available, and figured out how to more or less. It's just a null byte that breaks stuff. So
pretty much.
So I just
Alek.
wrote a one-liner off it. Love that one.
Alek.
Well,
Best one.
I'm going quickly into my notes and trying to find. I think I really
It's
liked.
relevant.
Just say pickle Rick.
Internal.
Actually, I really like Year of the Jellyfish.
Gatekeeper.
Jellyfish. I got to the foothold. I couldn't get past the foothold for so long.
It was a crazy box, but I got so lucky because I don't know how I didn't get trapped into the the rabbit hole. I just found it directly, the foothold, so I was really lucky. And it was a OSCP giveaway box too, so that was great.
Yeah.
I want to change my answer. I forget the name of the box again, but it's the one that's based off of Resident Evil. That one was my favorite one. Wasn't that hard, but it was fun.
That's what people think about Pickle Rick. It's not hard, but because you get the references, and the Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well, it's one of the best kind of beginner web rooms that are on the site, But for me, it's Blaster, because it was the first one I was ever able to do without a walkthrough. So Blaster's mine.
Nice.
Anyway, party continues in big study room.
Yeah, sure. If you guys want to have a talk, go down to the big study room. We can talk, and yeah. So for the rest of the event, guys, thank you for coming, and thank you for listening.
No problem.
Thanks for letting me chat for a few minutes too. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Half the time.
Everyone knows I like to talk.
was going to say it was good. It was good to meet you, Mayor. It's been I've not actually done an event with you, which is weird because I've been bouncing around here for ages. So
I haven't done an event either.
All right, there's
Well-
Axe guy waiting for us, guys, in the big study room. Please don't leave him alone. That's kind of. I'm gonna try to close this event, guys. So thank you and goodbye.
Get out.
Oh no!
I'd be the only one left.
If your CVE isn't a WordPress one, you can stay.
Not WordPress.
Mine's not.
I've never got a WordPress TV.
My CVE is based off of a stored cross-site scripting vulnerability.
Yeah, there's a lot of XSS out there for sure. I
I've
love
not
it.
got one yet. Yeah. The only reason I do all of this is because of the forensic stuff, and I had so many people talking about forensics. So I'm going to do a forensics talk over on Try Hack Me in the next maybe month or two. Anyway, so
You know
That's gonna
what?
be good.
Maybe I think I'll join you on that one because I had a class about digital forensics and I hated it. But I think it might have been my professor, so I want to go and make sure, like, come at it fresh.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the main thing, what I'd say about forensics is that the main thing to learn, if you want to get a bit of extra cash on the side, is how to recover deleted files. And as a hacker, you should already know how to do that. But just use a simple tool like FTK Imager that you can get for free, because when it comes to the end of the academic year, you can make so much beer money from people who accidentally deleted their dissertation or their thesis or some
Yeah,
work.
that's true.
The amount I've done is unbelievable, and I drank for free for all of December and all of the summer 1 year. So just
Great. Yeah, no, that's a good point. People that lose their dissertations, that they'll just about do anything to get it back. One time I used this program, this Linux program called PhotoRec. Yeah, my wife, when we were in university, my wife was doing a project, and they had to take pictures of these animals and stuff, and then of course, one of her team, her classmates, deleted the whole SD drive, and so I used this tool called PhotoRec to bring everything back. And they thought I was some wizard. It was great.
Okay, I don't know if Conqueror 007's in here because it's quite a big chat at the moment. Yes, okay, Conqueror 7, yes. So the advent of cyber, number 2 and number 1, they'll be turned off for the duration of advent of cyber 3, just to stop confusion, because there's prizes involved. We don't want people saying, oh, I worked all the way through advent of cyber and got fuck all. So yeah, we turn them off, but then they get turned back on in the new year. So yeah. But everybody do advent of cyber. I just don't nobody win the OSCP because I need one of them, please. Thank you.
Wait, how
want to do
many
it.
OSCP is there again?
There's 4
5.
more.
There's
How
5.
many?
There's 4. There's 4
Five.
in my one.
That's-
No, there's 4. There's
Oh.
4.
Okay.
I want to do it just because I want to get a rubber ducky. I never had I never had a reason to spend the money on it, so I could never justify it. But if I can win it, I want to do it.
Well,
You can make a rubber ducky really really cheap. I think Heath also made a video on it, and I did it even before that.
Yeah.
Like you can
Oh, no,
just
once-
get a.
Yeah. Once
Yeah,
you know how
it's
it
easy.
works. Yeah, I mean it's just to make a key, make it into a keyboard. That's it. You
Yeah,
know?
it's
But
like
I meant,
a
like, I want, like,
microcontroller.
I just want the official one. I know
Oh,
how to
yeah,
make
yeah.
one. You know,
It's like the pineapple. I just made a Punagotchi because it's cheaper than a pineapple, and I
Yeah.
get to use up one of the Raspberry Pis that I've got. But now I know Mayor can SSH into, so whatever.
yeah, change your password. Make sure it's got an exclamation point, and you'll be fine.
Hunter 2.
Digispark as well. Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah. I mean, one of the challenges that I've got now, I mean, back in the day, I've been in this industry for ages. So I actually helped develop part of the original Pineapple. No, not the Pineapple. Yes, the original Pineapple, because I've still got the router in my. But when they start coming with the rubber ducky and stuff like that, and the IMG cable, my main concern with it is that's quite an expensive piece of hardware that you have to leave somewhere in order to be effective.
Yeah.
The rubber ducky, okay, granted, if you do the whole 15-second Mr. Robot thing without taking, the casing off of it, because you don't need to do that, and that was just done for a dramatic effect by Porsche Doubleday, You can plug it in, you can run the script, and then you can plug it out. But obviously, that only works if the password has been already bypassed by somebody logging in, which is fine. But the OMG cable, the LAN turtle, and there's another one they've got. You just have to leave there, so you have to have an excuse to come back and get it. You know?
Yeah.
That's the part I don't like.
Yeah. I don't know. That's something I kind of want to do. I want to see if I can't do it. Like when COVID isn't a thing, hopefully, I want to be able to do a physical assessment. I think that'd be fun. Speaking of going somewhere and leaving stuff.
Dude, give me a tag. Social engineering is my jam. I love it so much.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah. Also, so does the company that you work for, do they use any of those types of Hack5 type tools?
You know what? That's something that I might need to ask the social engineering team. I don't know. I've never thought to ask. By the way, I just sent you a friend request.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's one of the very few that I'm going to accept. I'll tell you that much. So we go. Yeah, I've got 48 pending. That's how often.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't ever become a mentor. Because
That's why there's a lack of mentors. They keep being harassed constantly.
Well, that's something I do want to be a mentor because I do want to help other people do this because I don't want to slam the door behind me, so to speak. Yeah, I got in, I got mine. No. I want everyone who wants it. I want everyone in. So, that being said, please don't add me on Discord because I'll ignore you. Well,
and Joe says this a lot, and now I've kind of made a point to it. It's like in LinkedIn, if you don't have a message, I'm not going to accept it. I don't want to talk to. I don't even know who these people are, and there's no message, so it's like I'm not going to accept the connection.
I mean, it's all about doxing you. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
To that point, though, I will say sometimes they won't let me send a message when I go to try to connect to someone. So I keep that in mind too. On phone, on the computer, sometimes I just can't send a message because I don't pay for the LinkedIn whatever.
Well, I know that there's Microsoft. Well, I guess Microsoft purchased that company, but yeah, I know that there's like an issue between the phone app and like the website. Like I've noticed if I try to make a connection and send a note on the phone, it just doesn't work at all. But
yeah. By the way, other people can talk. It's not just the event part 2.
I mean, most of them are probably shy or like just muted and want to listen to.
Hello. Hey everyone.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. Yeah, I've been listening, and there was a few people that mentioned about mentors and such. And I have maybe it's a dumb question, so maybe let me know. But as a mentor, what are some things that you would like the mentee to have? Like maybe don't ask a stupid question, or maybe do some research first, and give you the context of the problem, and then ask the question, or like how would you like it to be asked? So then that your mentee actually put in the hours, put in the work to try to present you a way that they could learn, and then use that as an opportunity to maybe help them grow. Sorry for the complicated question, but I found that to be it keeps coming up at work for me.
It's not a complicated question. It's not a dumb question. That's actually the exact right question to ask. The thing you want to know as a mentor is you want to know that your mentee is trying. Not only, hey, this is the question I have. Okay, cool. What did you do to try to find the answer? I'm not expecting you to know everything, because if you do, you don't need a mentor. I want to know that you tried. What did you Google? What did you search? Where did you go? That type of thing.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I've stepped in at the end of this, but that's not really what a mentor's for.
No,
like a mentor is more to encourage you to be the best that you can be, rather than tell you what to do. Surely.
Right, but he was asking more along the lines of when I ask my mentor a question about something, if I'm understanding it correctly, like a different topic or a different subject, like, hey, I want to understand this. This is what how do I go about asking the right question? And that's the answer I'm answering, or a question I'm answering anyway. If that's not what you asked, I apologize. But no, that's not all a mentor is for. But if you're talking about what would I like the mentee to ask, there's like, I just want to know you're trying. I want you to not want to be spoon-fed. I'll spoon, obviously you might need it at first, but not the entire time.
Also, I would add that it doesn't necessarily even apply to mentoring, but also, for example, asking a question in any Discord server, like this one, for example. If you just come in and ask, like, oh yeah,
Ask to ask, just ask.
yeah. First of all, hello, anyone knows how to use Nmap? Question mark. Yeah, no, that's not the way to do it.
You say that. I am putting together an Nmap tutorial for TryHackMe.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
I've actually got a
nice.
list. No, I've got a list. Hang on. So I've got a whole bunch of mentors under me, and I'm getting them to do some tutorials going into December. I'm doing Nmap. I've got someone doing Netcat. I've got somebody doing fuzzing and GoBuster. I've got somebody doing Find and grep. I've got somebody doing subnetting. Got somebody doing regex. I've got somebody doing coding for hackers. I'm trying to find some volunteers for Burp, for SOCAT, for note taking, file transferring, and bind and reverse shells. But all of these beginner tutorials are happening, and I'm just putting them together. But yes, Nmap is something that I'm doing because it's easy and fun. Sorry.
Oh,
And it's essential too.
And Nmap course, that's basically going to be like CEH, but cheaper. Is that what you're saying, or?
It's just going to be beginner stuff, and if people come in who clearly already know their shit, I'll just boot them out because they don't need to know it. But it's for beginners, for people who are trying to crack into getting a little bit of knowledge. I'm hoping to record them as well so that we can just have them in the archives as well. For any of our Indian cousins, I've been poking at the guys who are going to be running this. But even though TryHackMe is very, very pedantic about speaking in English in their servers, I've managed to arrange a couple of Hindi guys to do a careers talk about India in Hindi. So you can ask questions to them in Hindi. They will explain stuff in Hindi, and they will be talking about because obviously, as Maya mentioned in the talk, CEH is very important over there. But also there's cultural considerations because obviously they've got their own religious beliefs and cultural beliefs and things like that, which I do not know about because I am the pastiest guy in the world, and I can barely even eat a jalapeno popper without having a drink of milk. So that is going to happen. I'm just poking them. One of them is a pen tester in India. One of them is a university graduate in India, and the other one is just a moderator to make sure that there's no cursing and speaking English in there. But yes, that's happening as well. As soon as I know it, I'll be putting it into the community announcements on TryHackMe. So keep an eye on that. I was hoping it'd be last week, but they keep putting it off because I think Diwali was last week, so he didn't want to do any work because he's a lazy bastard. So that's happening as well.
Will he be in big study room as well, so we can ask questions?
It'll be in the probably in the events room, so it'll be massive. If it's in the big study room and there's two, because we have quite a lot of Indian guys, we'll just extend it. We'll make it as big as possible to get as many Hindi folk in there as possible. But yes, you'll be able to ask questions. I don't know what their format will be. If I was to mentor them in it, I'd say similar to what's here, but they'll have perhaps so they can ask questions, but somebody will copy and paste the questions off, and then they can be asked in Hindi. So I'll probably get the moderator to do that. I think I've got at least 2 Hindi moderators and maybe 1 Hindi mentor. So they'll all be running it for me because I don't. Okay.
So wait, so like I didn't quite follow. Like, is that like a Discord server that you have, and where you do
the TryHackMe server?
Oh, on TryHackMe, I thought it was like a separate server.
No. I'm not that well prepared. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, so all of this stuff is happening, and I'll try and get Alek to do something as well.
I mean, sure, if you want me to talk about note taking, I can just tell people to.
I'm not even joking, mate. If you want to do some note taking, I will fucking put you down for note taking.
I mean, I'm decent, I guess. Like, if you have a list of subjects, maybe that's something I could help with for sure.
Okay,
And
because I mean, obviously that'd be it'd be talking to people, like talking to everybody about good notes to take, bad notes to take, the things you should take screenshots of, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've put you on there. If you do it, I will give you the pink roll. I'll give you the event host roll if you do it as well.
wait, what pink? No. I want to keep my blue role on channel.
Fine. I'll have a look. If the event host roll is below your blue roll, then I'll
Oh
give it to
yeah.
you. If not, then I'll leave it off. But yeah, because you've given me a roll against my wishes, but it's okay.
Hey, you offered to help, and I
Okay, that's
just
fine. It's
thank
good.
you for
It's
helping.
okay. It's unique, so I'm fine.
A few people have it, like 3 people have it on the server now.
Good. It's unique. It's unique.
Yeah.
Hey, I have it.
Yeah, you have it now.
Also,
speak in Hindi.
Also, guys, between you and me, Alek's accent is incredible, right?
Yes.
J'adore l'accent de français. Oh,
Ah, mais après, je pourrais parler français, tu vois, mais tu comprendrais pas grand-chose, donc
You don't
no,
talk about my mom.
no. Je ne sais pas. Je parle français un peu. Although I did understand what you just said. So
I just know je ne sais
If you-
quoi. What's
okay.
that? I don't even know what that means. I just know how to say it.
I don't
je ne
know.
sais means I don't know.
Oh.
I thought you were gonna say omelette du fromage or.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Yeah, everybody knows
Okay,
this.
yeah, that's the classic.
Yeah.
The only
Baguette.
closest I've done to French is Amelia movie and Priceless movie.
Mm.
Sorry, what's that?
Were you speaking French?
Because I'm French.
We're just talking about it. Yeah, Alek is French. I'm
We were
also
just
probably
messing
going to.
around.
I'm probably also going to visit France soon in my camper van.
Okay, but if you tell me you're gonna visit Paris, then I'm gonna say, yeah, no, that's not France, but yeah.
Well, I think I've been to Paris a couple of times. No, I've been to Paris a couple of times, but the ferry goes from my hometown in Plymouth in UK over
Yep.
to Roscoff.
Hey, are you from
So-
Plymouth?
Yeah.
Oh, I live like 20 minutes from Plymouth.
What, in Ivybridge?
No, I'm in Cornwall, near Gunnis Lake.
Oh, really? I'm going to Cornwall tomorrow. I'm heading up to King Arthur's Castle. Yeah, just
Oh, yeah.
for a laugh. Yeah.
Oh, you're
So-
right down Cornwall, then, yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I've got the camper van. I can bring like my coffee and some food and stuff with me, and my Nintendo 3DS with Pokemon. You know, the usual.
Oh, yeah, but I was born in Plymouth, grew up in Plymouth, yeah.
Oh, brilliant! Have you ever had a Domino's pizza in Plymouth?
On Motley Plain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the
Yeah, so
British invaded the
Yeah,
chat now.
so I own that. I own that store. My family own all the Domino's in Plymouth.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
I did have a quick question, though.
Hmm?
You guys, have you got any experience with the Pentest Plus, the CompTIA exam?
So CompTIA is hot and cold across the industry. Like some people like it, some people don't. The Pentest Plus, it's a good set. It's a very, very good set to have because first of all, it looks good in the CV, and as much as people hate that, yeah, it looks good in the CV. It's a good experience as well to do, and it's actually pretty cheap as well. The only trepidation I have, and this might just be because I try to be logical in everything that I do, is if someone offers discounts on the certifications, then you've got to ask yourself, what's the value of that certification if they can discount it? Does that make sense? And
Go on, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because if you look at the likes of the TCM one, which is a PH, is that what they're called?
Yep.
Yeah, PH is, although all of the course materials and the videos and all of the courses and stuff are all discounted generally, because the exam stays static and the OSCP, the exam stays static, and the EJPT all static, you know that that's what you need to be able to do that. However, if they reduce the OSCP down to, let's say, $200, it means then everybody could just buy it on the off chance that they'll get it. So what's the likelihood of getting some people who are genuinely dedicated to wanting to do that as a career? And I know like £1,000 or $1,000 in some cultures is an awful lot of money. In others, in the Western cultures, it generally isn't. But if I was to pay that, I'm not going to pay that just for nothing. I'm going to do the best I possibly can in that course. Whereas the EJPT, it was only a couple of £100. I did that for fun because it's not a huge loss if I fucked it up. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the impression I got with a lot of the CompTIA stuff was that it was sort of more people were getting them because they were liked, like people in the industry liked them rather than
yeah. But I mean, as much as okay, so Mayor touched upon previously, the CEH is very, very highly liked in India, and that's mainly because if you think about a huge, massive company, the recruitment or the HR person will say to the IT person, "Hey, look, we're going to bring in some pen testers, some blue team people. What do you want as a minimum?" And the blue team guy is going to go, do you know what? Just make sure they've got the CH. Once they've got that, they have an understanding of hacking, and I can train them up from there. That's what the mindset is. However, as we know, the previous CEH, the version 10, was a multiple choice question and could be done by reading a book, and is rubbish. But that's the standard that got set. Now, when the main good
add to that.
Yeah, please go for it, Caesar.
Yeah, like I'm in India and like I've given some many interviews because I just got a job out of the university, so it's like many HRs would just search at the Google like we need to hire a cybersecurity engineer and how do we do it, and because of the AdWords, the CH would come at the top, so they don't know any other certifications or names, and the HR would just like, do you have this CEH or not? And like if you have it, you're good to go, and if you don't, like they just like remove you from the list.
Exactly. You could have OSCP, ECPBT, Pentest Plus. You could have all the certificates, but if you don't have CEH, and this is what we call the HR filter. So as Caesar or Cesare, or I mean, I don't know how you want me to pronounce that, but as they say, it will just take you out of the running simply because you haven't ticked a box. Now, what's good about the CEH is the title. Imagine being called a certified ethical hacker. That is badass as fuck. I mean, come on, that's awesome. And I think that's what's great about the CompTIA stuff is if I said to somebody, I've got an OSCP, they were like, oh, okay. If you say to somebody, well, I've got the Security Plus certificate, but oh, Security Plus, what's that all about? Or I've got the Pentest Plus, what's a pen test? Then suddenly you go, oh, it's, testing a computer to see how easily it is to hack it. Well, how do you do that? Well, you hack it. Done. And that opens up a bit of conversation, which is very, very good when you're speaking to things like recruiters. I mean, I didn't actually get into this in the talk because I know I talked a lot, but because I love the sound of my own voice. But when I got my job years and years ago, my previous job as a digital forensic analyst, the interview was one of the craziest things that I did. Now, it's up to you guys in the voice chat if you want to hear it. I can back off if you want to not hear me for a while.
I was just going to say I got to bail, but I do want to take you up on that one day if you don't mind.
No problem, Fearless. I'm sure I'll be talking in a chat sometime soon, either here or over there.
Sweet.
And do you do like events, like talks? I mean, I saw you had one talk when you did EJPT on TryHackMe server.
Yes.
But do you maybe, because I plan on doing maybe this kind of events if you guys are interested more often. Like, do you plan on doing that on TryHackMe too, or?
Yes. So it's down to me to organise them, but unfortunately, I've had quite a lot of personal things I've had to be going through recently. Let's not get into that. So a lot of them haven't happened. However, we do have a few cool events coming up, which will be in the same format as this one here that's just happened. So one of the ones I've got is the life cycle of a pen test, from getting the engagement right up to submitting the report to the client. We have one that's going to be coding for hackers. It's going to be a good one. Binary exploitation, which is going to be an absolutely awesome one. Horseshark explained something to me, but I didn't understand it, and it was to do with recognizing physically where memory gets stored and how to move it around. Oh yes. I've got the Hindi careers talk that I've already mentioned to our Hindi cousins here. I'm going to do a soft skills and social engineering talk. CMN is going to do a Docker and Docker escape talk. One of the guys is going to do a cloud honeypots talk, which I think is going to be fun as hell.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Another guy is going to do a PCAP analysis talk.
Dude, you have so many talks going on.
It's just getting the guys to do it because they have to put together the talk. And then the final one is going to be a physical pen testing one. So the guy's going to talk about lock picking. He's going to be talking about, you can have the most secure door in the world, but somebody put a brick through the window, that kind of thing.
You have like a whole conference going on. Are you trying to compete with DEF CON or something? Or?
Well, dude, these are just my mentors. These are the guys that are in my mentor pool of people.
Oh yeah, I see.
But it's also getting people to talk about the thing that they enjoy, the thing that they love. And this is why I want to do soft skills and social engineering, because I think people skills is one of the most important things to do. Right, Team Nguyen, can you put more info about coding for hackers?
Can hit your mic? I'm just gonna server mute you if you can ping me.
Yeah. So Team Nguyen, the coding for hackers, that is going to be by one of our guys, probably June or Druggy or B. But it's literally going to be what level of coding do hackers need? So we touched upon Python during the event that we had just now, which is brilliant. But obviously there's a little bit that you need to know. There's some concepts that you have to have in your mind about how to interact with the environment that's going to happen. Keep an eye on TryHackMe. As soon as I give these guys dates, they will know when they have to have their reports done by. This is going to be going on for a little while, so this is probably going to be maybe one a month, then one every 2 weeks for a little while, because I'm going to try and get these beginner tutorials going on in the middle as well. So it's going to be fun, I think. Lockpicking, KA1, K1. Yes, I love lockpicking so much. Absolutely love it. I normally just have the picks out of my desk, and it's like hacker knitting, where you just sit there just cracking open a little padlock for fun.
Yeah, those are like internal pen tests, but where you get to test the physical security as well.
With a stick, yeah. I mean, I did get these cool pics, and weirdly from banggood.com, and they are actually key extractors, which I bought because the metal on them is so thin. I can take the hook off them, and I can use them for combination locks, because they can slip in between the wheel and the casing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's like a whole other craft. It's
Oh god, yeah, it's fun as well, especially when you watch Lockpicking Lawyer and he does it so easily.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, esqy. I was gonna say, hey man, there's an opportunity to be Lockpicking Lawyer, part 2.
Now the thing is, Bosnian Bill has finished, doesn't he? Because he had some personal issues at home, so he stopped doing it. So that's what a void is.
Click on 1, binding out of 2.
Who did that?
That sounded exactly like him.
We've got Henry in the chat.
I got you, fellas. Alek, buddy, it's been a while.
Dude, it's been a while.
Dude, you've been onto some big boy stuff since the last time that I've swung by. Dude, look at you go. I mean, the last time that I spoke with you, you're doing little boxes here. Yeah, it's in the TryHackMe room. And then, dude, fast forward all these months later, dude, you got a little bit of a big boy job, a little bit of a pen testing gig.
Yeah, sheesh.
My boy, it's my boy.
Yeah, and he's got local celebrities in here as well.
Local celebrities, hell yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, yeah. I was talking about me, but yeah, whatever.
So I was like, I think he's referring to himself, but like, I'll let him do his thing. I won't steal his thunder.
That's okay. I've got plenty of thunder to spare.
Okay.
Oh my. Yeah.
But yeah. So,
question, guys.
Please go.
Like, how do we progress in our careers with like steganography or cyber forensics? Like, these are not much talking about.
So steganography, fuck it.
Yeah.
So think about the real world applications of steganography. It just doesn't happen. It genuinely doesn't happen. You just don't see it. So So know how to use steghide, know how to use binwalk, and know how to use strings. but people just don't hide stuff in images or sound anymore. But forensics, it is a completely other branch of hacking. So with forensics, what I found was it's 10% doing something and 90% writing about that 10% and recording it. If you don't write it down, it didn't happen. That's what forensics is. And then you go to court and justify your actions.
So, like, how do we start our careers in like cyber forensics? Like, I'm in India right now, so like, how do I study about it, or what certificates do I get, or?
Okay, so I went in without any certificates when I did mine. Do you know what? This is a good segue into me doing my experience. So I'd finished university. My degree is in internet technology and applications, which even when I graduated was almost obsolete. One of the programming languages we learned was J2ME. Look it up. It doesn't exist anymore. So anyway, I finished that degree and I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I saw forensics and I thought, you know what, that sounds fun. I did a little bit of hack the site back in the day because, you know, that was cool back then. I did a little bit of over the wire back in the day because that was cool. I thought, you know what, screw it, forensics. So I applied for a job in the Midlands of England, which is about a 3-hour drive away. And they granted me an interview and I was like, okay. Now, it was an unusual interview. It was for being a mobile device forensic analyst. And there was 20 jobs, I believe. No, there was 10 jobs, and there was 20 people applying for them. So you might say there's a 50% chance, but obviously they're not. They'll take. You're not going to take somebody on who's not going to be right for the job. So anyway, I rocked up to this place. I drove up the day before, stayed at a hotel, and then went into this interview. I had a really nice suit on. It was a beautiful suit. It was beautiful. And the first part of it, for the first half hour or so, all the interview applicants were just in this room having coffee, eating biscuits or cookies, like our American cousins would call them, and we were just talking. Like, we were trying to be as formal as possible because we're all in our suits for the first time since the beginning of uni. And what I did learn was everybody there had some sort of degree in forensics or a master's degree in forensics. And I was like, wow. And after I did that, I was kind of like, right. And then the company that we were applying for did a presentation about what the company is, what they do, that sort of stuff. And I was kind of like, okay, all right. And then we had another bit of a recess and speaking to other guys. And I actually thought to myself, do you know what? There's no way I'm going to get this job. No, not even a chance in hell, because all of these people are way better qualified than me. But I thought, you know what? I've driven 3.5 hours. Screw it. I'll give it a go. The second part of the interview was a bit unusual because we had to have pre-prepared a presentation on something to do with forensics. And it could have been anything. They said literally anything. And when I sat down, a lot of the people just did a shortened version of their dissertation or of one of the projects they did during university. So one of the girls talked about metadata. One of the guys did something so complicated that even the bosses there were like, what are you talking about? And when I got up, I kind of said, look, be honest, I don't know very much about forensics. However, I'll talk about something that I do know about: computer hacking. And then I'd explained what hacking was, I explained what ethical hacking was, and then I explained the mechanisms behind a man-in-the-middle attack, which is nice and easy, or an ARP attack, which is fairly straightforward, as all of you guys and I know. And it was meant to be like a 3 or 4 minute presentation with a minute or two for questions. I was stood up there for 25 minutes answering questions about computer hacking. Even the bosses were asking me questions. Now, I enjoyed that because I absolutely loved hacking. Now, the challenge came, and this goes back to what Fearless said, when you're on the spot, you just forget things. The boss said to me, so just out of interest, what does ARP stand for? And I was at a blank. I drew a blank right then. Obviously, right now, as you all know, anybody know what it stands for, ARP?
Address Resolution Protocol.
There we go. Thank you, Alek. And he said to me, what is it? And I drew a blank, and I said, do you know what? To be absolutely honest, I don't know, but I know how the hack works. And he was satisfied with that answer. So what I will say is if you're in interviews and stuff and you come against a wall like that, instead of just standing there and, opening and closing your mouth like a fish, answer. If you don't know, say why you don't know and say the reason. Say, look, do you know what? I'm actually drawing a blank right now because it's quite a stressful situation, and then go on and say your thing. But anyway, so I did that. And then in the actual interview itself, I did the whole interview thing. I was confident, I was fearless, not quite fearless one, but I was just fearless. And I ended up obviously getting offered the job. Now, I did the job for a little while, and then a Christmas party happened. And I had a few drinks, as it were. And then I spoke to the boss, and I said, look, when I was interviewing, I was talking to a guy who had a master's degree in forensics, and the presentation he did was very technical. It talked about all of these really cool things. And how come I got the job over him? Because I had no experience. And the boss said, do you know what? Because you would have had to stand up in court and defend the information that you put across. Also, we've got to work with you. And he said that other guy, I remember the one you're talking about, he would have been an absolute nightmare to work with. And I was like, okay, all right. And that's where my comment in the event came from, which is you have to work with them. So, Caesar, as much as you're focusing on certs, certifications, and qualifications, that ends up being more of a cultural item and more of a HR bypass. In that instance, I'd recommend you talk to a local careers advisor. If you don't actually know anybody, or there isn't anybody that you can just immediately think off the top of your head, go to a local college or go to a local university, because they'll have a careers area and they won't turn you away. Just socially engineer your way in. Just say that you're a student and walk in,
Yeah,
Then,
I tried to do that, but here the latest certifications we have in the degrees or in the universities is like computer science, and they are like 20 years late at least.
oh, fuck that. Yeah.
So I did that. Okay, I was like, okay, that's my option, so I did that. But in the universities here, it's there's nothing such like that. And but the way you felt when you got that job, so did that way. But it was stretched to a 3 months period.
Yeah.
And now I got that.
Okay, fair enough. Good work.
So
Good work.
I just got in. My date of joining is 22nd, which is
2 days away, Monday.
yeah. It's actually Sunday here, 1:50 a.m. So it's tomorrow, and
yeah, but it's 2 sleeps away. You're fine. You got this.
So and I was just I'm tasked to build a security policy, and I'm searching everywhere how to do it and what is it and how do we get
that's where Google Dorking comes in, mate. That is where, because they're going to call it security_policy, aren't they? That's
yeah. I even joined the event because of that, because in the infosec discussions channel in the TCM Discord, I just put up the question. I saw the event. I said okay, let's join in, and now I've won a THM 1 month voucher, and now I'm in this study room making notes out of it. Okay, this word seems new. Just write it down.
Did you win one of the vouchers?
Yeah, I won actually.
Oh shit! Good work. Well done, mate. Well done. Let's have a look.
It's oh, okay, I'm incredibly lucky, and somehow I'm getting it done.
That's awesome.
Work, man. Good work. Seriously, 100%. Just absolutely destroy that voucher. That is probably one of the best things you can get. And
yeah, actually,
I'm very biased
on it. There was something a giveaway of some sort of at the THM, and there were some rooms which require you to have some premium sort of to complete that chapters and all. So I was just stuck on that way, and I joined in and I got a voucher. So I'm I'll do it now.
Mate, seriously, like I said in the chat, I give away so many vouchers. So it might have been one of mine. We don't know. Could have been anybody's.
Yeah, I think it was one of yours.
But I absolutely love. I don't just love giving it away because I know there's a lot of people in here and they're all going to want one.
No, it was Bull's. voucher, but it's the same basically.
Yeah, fair. But I mean, I like, and honestly, just absolutely smash out the subscriber rooms. What you can do is if you go onto Try Hack Me, onto the dashboard. Hang on, let me find. There we go. So if you go on, if you click on Learn and then click on Search, and then there's actually a show. There's a pull down menu, and if you show subscription only, then that gives you pages and pages of subscription only rooms. On Try Hack Me, and a lot of people don't realize that about 85% of the content is free. It genuinely is. So the subscription rooms are generally, I've got 11 pages of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's what, 100 and I don't know what the last room is. It's about 105 subscription rooms.
Yeah.
Some of them are walkthroughs, some of them are CTFs. But usually those are the ones that are made by the developers of Try Hack Me. So they tend to be a little bit higher quality than the user created ones.
Yeah, just opened that. It's 11 pages and
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you should really like during that month just do sub only rooms. Try to do as many as you can. Take good notes, and that's how I learned most of the stuff I know. So.
Well, there's also some there's an insane room called Osiris on there, so maybe do that.
Sorry, which one?
It's called Osiris. Okay, with Osiris, you have to do the previous 2 rooms. You have to do Ra or Ra 2. You have
Isn't
to
it like
because
one of the hardest in the.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But you have to do Ra and Ra 2 because you have to get information from one of those 2 boxes in order to do Osiris. So
we have a guy here. His name is Andrew, and he was like hacker of the month. He try harded for a whole month on Try Hack Me, and he said this room he couldn't sleep because of this room.
Yes, it's a good one. Who made it? Was it Suit Guy? Hang on, let me see who made it.
I don't know, but guys, I'm gonna go now because
Andres.
I should have dinner. It's 9 p.m. and I haven't had dinner yet. So.
Dude, it's 8:30. Get with the good time zone, please.
Okay, guys.
Hey, guys. It's 3:25 p.m. in some places. Dude, I still got the whole day left, fellas. I still got the whole day.
Okay.
Alek, merci pour l'opportunité pour parler avec la communauté.
Thank you to you, and thank you to everyone for joining. It was really great. It's really great to have like a community and
kind
of like exchange information and everything. So yeah, goodbye.
Yeah, it's good seeing you again, buddy. Yep, take care, buddy.
See you, Henry. See you, my friend.
It's good to meet you, Henry. By the way, I'm esqy.
Yeah. You said local celebrity. I wasn't familiar with you, but it appears you have the event host role. So that. So I assume you were here earlier this afternoon, and you were main speaker, one of main speakers.
No, not at all. So basically, so Fearless One was the main speaker talking about because he's been in a pen testing role for a month now.
Okay.
Yeah, which is quite a good person to talk. Alek was just being quite awkward with it, and I just messaged Alek and said, "Look, do you want me to step in? Because I'm a."
It's him like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I get on with Alek because so I'm the lead mentor over in Try Hack Me on the Discord.
Okay.
So I host events and stuff over there. So I kind of said to him, "Look, do you want to step in just to keep it flowing a little better?" Because there was quite a few areas where there was quite long silences.
Mm-hmm.
And I
understand.
Let's do this, which is cool. And then Mayor jumped in, and I didn't need anything anymore because obviously he took over.
Oh my gosh,
yeah, you were like, let me get you in motion now.
Exactly.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, like Alex said, I spent a little bit more time in this Discord in particular, probably in the beginning of the year, maybe like January, February-ish, and Alek at the time, he'd pop into these study rooms and he'd pull up like a Try Hack Me box or something like that, and he'd do like a little live walkthrough as he's struggling through it for the first time. And it's honestly kind of funny looking back on it, because especially at the time he was way better than me, because I was really, really green then. But like Man, dude, looking back on it, we really struggled through some simple stuff.
Yeah. But the thing is, I have to admit, it's so brave when somebody just does a room like that. Just
Especially
drops
live,
on.
man. Like that's the
Fuck
thing.
that.
Like I've done a couple of live walkthroughs of boxes, and
Yeah.
there was this one box in particular where I footholded real fast. Felt good, and there was like 30 people in the Discord channel. I was like, fellas, this is gonna be easy peasy. Easy box. We got our foothold within the first 10 minutes. This is gonna be great. I spend the next hour trying to Privesk, and somebody DMs me that's in the voice channel, and they're like, hey dude, you wanna just try switching user to root with password admin? I was like, no shot. And I didn't want to be spoiled like that. I was bugged that I was going to be spoiled like that. But I felt this obligation because so many people were watching me that I was like, okay, guys, let's try default creds. SU root, SU root, tor, SU root, admin. And dude, when that root shell came back, let me tell you that I got burned so hard in front of 30 people that I check that every single time now. I check for bad creds, like ridiculous. On a box, because I never forgot that moment. I remember being so flushed. I was like, God damn
I have to admit, the thing is, you have to try the basics first of all, because I did a box. It was brand new out on THM, so there was no walkthroughs or anything.
Sure.
So I sat down and I was like, right, okay, quick nmap scan, just a real quick SCSV, just really quick. And I saw port 80, so I was like, right, brilliant, let's jump on the website. I just poured my drink, my Pepsi Max Cherry, because that's the true hacker's drink. And I was like, okay, well, here's a login page. Right, let me just try a 1 = 1. Let's do it.
Sure.
And it logged in. I was like, what's going on? Like,
dude, those feel good, dude. When you land on sometimes on these boxes, right? When you land on a page that has no styling and it's just 2 text boxes and a submit box, you're like, please be a simple one. Please be a 1 = 1.
I just didn't expect it, because I've been part of the room testing crew in Try Hack Me, and we don't let those pass anymore because they're too easy. Because it's just not fun for anybody. But ultimately I was well happy, and then it was it turns out to be